to read it. Yes!
Yes, there it is. Not a pirate. Instead, he's gone for a Viking. And he's just going to be yelling bro. I love this. A champion that yells bro all the time after a bro victory earlier today. Man, this guy's... He's got some vibes. He is helping out. As now we've got to dive towards the bottom side of the map. That bailout is not happening as Kellen will go down. It is a 1-for-1 sacrifice.
By the way, he hasn't spent his money yet.
Okay, he's still having a great time in this lane, as we can see.
Yeah, Olaf's his base stats are...
Not bad. Not bad. Does have a decent amount of being able to stay alive as well in the kit, although it's not really working against a bunch of ghouls. The Morning Mist may need to be used here as, yep, that's just a solo kill for Doran. He buys himself a Phage, teleports towards that top side of the map. And Faker putting on some pressure here in the mid lane as well, as Vikla may just die as the Arcane Storm comes through. Faker is going to get killed by Tibbers, because Tibbers gets real mad after Annie goes down. So a 1-for-1 trade in the mid lane.
Actually looking great, outside of, you know, Sobor getting solo killed.
I mean,
that part was...
When it comes to, like, Olaf play, I think getting to Iron Maiden, I just feel like that'd be metal.
It would be cool.
She's not, though, as we can see here. Doran is now in a little bit of trouble, ladies and gentlemen. The reckless swing, there's the shot. This is exactly how Olaf wants to play the game. And that is killing you and dying.
That's peak right there.
I don't know if it's good for Soboro, but he is doing stuff that he wants to do. As, all right, True Shot Barrage is going to soften up these Void Grubs. Carrier's going in. Pop Blossom's coming down as well, though the Fate's Call needs to be invested. My God, those Tangle Barbs were so good. As now Vikla is going to try and take down Gumayusi, but he gets bailed out of that one.
Yeah.
Only down to 100 health, and Faker is looking to clean this one up. Kellen, not a whole lot he can do in this instance, and T1 win themselves the fight. Worry about the Wombo combo because they're not really going to be trying to team fight you. As a possible fear here onto Raptor. Diablo is moving over though, and Kellen's in position. Carrier finally gets here, and Owner is playing super far up. Some aggressive play out of the man, as the Crab going to move back towards T1.
They're about to be a member up. I don't know about this for BNK.
A little bit dicey here as the Maiden comes down. Doran gets involved a little bit early, though, as now the Paranoia comes in. They look to just get rid of this Xin Zhao as quickly as possible, and Win doesn't have time to become Lightning because he's dead. Kellen now doing his very best to survive, but he's going to get smoked down where he stands, and it's a double kill for Ona. Another one going over to Doran as he takes down Diablo. And it is going from bad to worse, as yes, Ragnarok doesn't get you out of the ghoulie wall, as it turns out. And so Soboro is...
just gonna die?
Possibly just dead. Yeah, the Morning Mist is gonna be able to slow him down. And there is the kill onto the Olaf.
Trade. You don't have range, and they've had either Carrier or Owner just continuously hovering
I would
him.
say that Faker is in trouble, but he's not. True Shot Barrage is going to snag him, but there's the Paranoia. Vikla may be in trouble, but that is...
Turn?
Yeah, the turn is going to come on through here. As Ona taking a lot of damage, Pop Blossom holds him in place. He does get a kill before that even happens, though, as the bailout not quite able to work here as the ghoulie wall also not quite happening. And there's Soboro, ladies and gentlemen. It's the double, and now Diablo. I mean, yeah. It does make some sense, but, you know, Stride Break is a pretty powerful item if you can get in amongst it, as Vikla is now dead, ladies and gentlemen. Doran is going to just allow his Maiden to kill him. Look at this! It's an NPC battle in the bottom. Yeah, Kellen standing in a pretty good position here as the handshake does come through, but that is just a dead Rift Herald as the teleport brought Soboro in. He's looking for a flank angle here. He gets into the brush. That does give T1 all the information here as the ghoulie wall goes down to make things annoying. Carrier continuing to find these handshakes.
Well, the poke, they're playing for...
Oh, it's really smart from T1. They're just trying to create some space here as they go in onto Ona, and the Pop Blossom finds everyone! The bailout comes down yet again. They do kill the Nico, though, and so Ona stays alive for a long time into the backline. Goes the Olaf, but he's unable to get on top of Gumayusi. He uses those summoner spells so beautifully. And I was about to say T1 just had the positional advantage around that mid lane, and they utilize it so beautifully to just say no to BNK. They're going to look for even an inner turret off the back end of this as well. Oh man, I feel like they took so much from BNK just going for a desperation engage.
killing Owner is nice, but that's not really what the goal of the composition.
You can't take him off the rift. He will still just go for the team fights. And he's finding it once again. Carrier up here alongside him. Let's see whether Doran and the Maiden can survive as the bailout does come in. The health bar is not going to quite be low enough though, as Diablo gets close, to be perfectly honest. Owner on the cross map is going to be taking the second dragon for T1, as the Rift Herald does deal with this top outer turret. Still actually got enough buttons to take down this Otacon. Let's see whether that is indeed the case as Vikla. He can go back, teleport in. BNK looking for the turn immediately though, as we can see, hostile takeover. Gonna find only Raptor as the goalie wall is gonna lock up Sobro. He's now looking to run his way out as the Maiden is chasing them all down. And T1, they do get them off the Otacon. Is this enough to get the objective for themselves?
I don't know about doing it themselves. They feel confident. Faker is back with full health. The zone control is decent.
It's a 6v6 now as well. Tithers and the Maiden getting amongst it, and BNK, they're just not going to go for it. They don't have the confidence, and the Otacon just going to go over to T1.
Was a little worried when I saw that TP, but Carrier ensures, together with Owner, that operation, make sure Doran doesn't get instantly blown up is a success. Actually gets out, and then with Faker TPing back in as well, able to set down the poke, and the zone control obviously for T1 is incredible, right? Between the ghouls and the lasers and the giant force field, it's hard to actually get through once you lose control of a position, unless you fully commit. It's much easier said than done. And BNK, who's in the Otacon now as well, it's not quite over. There is still no flash on Faker, which is big, but Kuma has his sums back up.
Yeah.
Makes the fight a lot harder to play out.
He's now just trying to get this mid-wave in order. As we can see, he will be successful in that one. Carrier just trying to get some control over this dragon area, which is going to be the battlefield that we're looking for as Diablo finding an angle. Gumi, oh, proccing the W as well.
That might be second dragon for BNK here.
Yeah, especially considering going to be without a Callista. He is actually taking the Wolves instead. Diablo trying to do it one more time as Faker. If at first or second you don't succeed, try again. And unfortunately, don't try again, because it never really works here, ladies and gentlemen. Owner, though, is going low. Carrier bails himself out, but it's not quite going to work, as it's a 1-for-1 trade. Vikla, unfortunately, just doesn't have the health bar to survive in these fights. And Doran is just taking the base.
It's still kind of a window. Oh, they're not going to go for... I thought they were going to actually go for Dragon. There's no TPs. I think they could have. Instead, they're looking for the collapse onto Doran, who is going to trade his life for an inhib, which I think you're not too sad about. If you can turn it into Dragon.
Well, let's see what he can actually find here, as he's going to flash. There's a blast cone.
Never mind.
No, but it is on their own terms. That is definitely a fact. As all right, Dragon going to be of the Merc Wolf. As all right, Vikla, let's do it. Doran doesn't get stunned though, and he just wanders out of range. He places Sobro in a circle, and now he's just looking to kill him. There he goes. Vikla now in not a bit of trouble. He's dead. Yeah, Doran is way too large. Now T1 should be able to take themselves a Baron, because Doran just like 1v2 double kills.
He's going to end the game.
Yeah, all that.
He's going to... Raptor can steal.
Yeah, does it matter though is the question. The smite is not even required, because the rend is what secures it. Down goes this Xin Zhao, and Kellen in this side lane will not be able to do anything to Olaf. Yeah, Diablo is going to get back to base, but I think a lot of him wishes he didn't. As, yeah, he's on the fountain, but the Maiden does not care about your fountain. And Doran doesn't care about your Nexus. He's going to kill that, and T1 going to win game one. It's okay. It's okay. Folks can let us know. You can just write something down in Twitch chat. I'll make sure that I'm checking it out. It is going to be the Braum Lucian, which is one of my personal favorites, favorite Lucian lanes.
We did just pick Nautilus into Braum, covering that bot lane right now. Those are some very aggressive plays being set up.
Yep,
he's out of the curve.
Yep, they're slamming each other into walls, and that is just the quickest of...
are you like a reverse sear guy?
Yeah, I've recently got into it.
He's also getting reverse seared.
Yeah, this is the reverse sear as well, because this is Doran getting seared. He was greeting for a minion wave that he wasn't allowed to walk up to. Assessment is our pledge, you know, to stay unbiased. As Emperor's Divide going to come on through there, and oh my goodness! It's the combo, and it works out gloriously. As BNK not going to be able to find too much here towards the top side, as Owner is going to just shove Vikla into the wall. He is going to get convinced to leave this area, but already has done a fair bit of work.
Oh, you mean Owner? Yeah, Owner does have to leave.
Yeah, sorry, it wasn't Vikla. Vikla didn't really mind about the whole situation.
No ult for Owner, so not ready to worried. We're 2v2ing here with Jace.
Yeah, not sure about this one, as the exhaust does come on through. Gumayusi trying to stand his ground as Soboro flashes away. Gumayusi gets into the mist, flashes up, but he does get the heal. And still Gumayushi's going to be able to pick up the kill now, the Piercing Darkness. And look at the heals that come in the whole time from Gumayusi and Carrier. And Guma, get back here!
What TP. So this entire wave is going to get shoved into the turret. He's also going to get tempo on the next base as he's able to clear this wave very quickly. As just that little bit of extra damage could have been the difference between Carrier living and dying. And then here, I think he could have walked it off.
Yeah, but honestly, like, it was the fact that Kellen got the heal and it felt so good, and now it feels absolutely horrible. As Raptor comes in, Gumayusi might be dead, as he's going to see what he can do, but the heroic charge going to be enough there, as supportal combat will complete the play.
Every single fight.
Oh yeah, but the fact that they're winning is the huge problem, because I don't think that they should. As Carrier's going to find the hook. There's the Dawning Shadow as the Impale comes through as well. Diablo will get taken out. They will be able to trade one back because the Keeper's Verdict works out very nicely. But still, Raptor's going to get delivered to this turret, even though they don't have a massive amount of...
The same build. I forgot who it was.
Oh, was there another one?
There was a third Senna.
Oh, golly. Was that earlier on? Well, we've got a bit of a fight breaking out here as Carrier taking a fair bit of damage. Over the wall goes the cullinged up
Doran!
That equalizer placement. Oh, Doran, POM time, baby! It's POM time for Doran as he picks up the...
You know, we didn't really see him for the first, I want to say like 4 months, but he's back.
Oh, yeah.
Domestic Doran is here to stay.
Well, there's international Doran's turning up.
Okay. Even waiting for 2 items on Diablo, I'm like looking for... Also, Sobor is really far behind, so I guess that was a consideration, but I'm not feeling...
Can't quite remember where, as Vikla looking for an angle, gets the flash this time! They find another heroic charge into the wall supplied by the Azir. They'll grab themselves a turret.
That is true. I don't think that'll be enough as a...
Otacon is going to be traded for an inhibitor turret in the bottom lane, and an inner turret, and an outer turret, and an outer turret in mid lane as well.
3 turrets?
Down in the bottom lane just means that bottom side map control is going to be so much harder for T1.
This is gone. So T1 also mid lane turret, BNK not going to fall for it, because Diablo is probably going to finish his second item. Be feeling good about that. There is the IE.
You just crashed Shelly into a wall.
Oh, RFC done for Guma now as well.
All right, there's the flash impale. Empress Divide does absolutely nothing as Vikla is just going to get executed by this dragon. 234 stacks, and as it comes in, T1 says it's time to fight. The equalizer got Diablo out of that battle entirely as the minion wave is getting thinned out. Dawning Shadow comes through. That's going to keep Doran alive. And T1, they can just keep regenning these health bars over and over.
From Azir and Jace. That's gone. And Diablo all-inning.
Yeah.
I think that in this game you can give it to multiple people, and in game 1 it was definitely Doran, so I'm
Oh, that slam! That was real sexy there from Ona. He's getting my POM. I don't have one, but he's getting it if he wants it. And it's going to be the lockdown of Soboro.
Owner hasn't gone on POM in like a series, Atlas. I want to focus on the game, Atlas.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Exactly.
Broadcast
T1
first.
BNK, Baron. That's what we're looking towards now. Rocks are being thrown around. Faker is flying around. Well, walking at the moment, but he could fly if he wants to.
That's a normal Nautilus.
Yeah, this one does have a locket though. Soboro going to dive in on top of Doran here. Let's see who wins this 1v1. As Equalizer goes down and Soboro is just dead, ladies and gentlemen. Faker's going to get flashed on. That could be the opportunity here as they do get a nice double knock-up. But that's it. That's the initial salvo. They almost got through yeah, Dragon Shield. Owner is actually taking real damage though. But here is the equalizer. My God, the value is disgusting as his Flame Spitter comes down as well. Now it's Gumayusi untouched. They manage to get the Impale off. Down goes the Skarner, but that is all they're going to get as Soboro. He's just looking to make his way out. It is addressed whatsoever here by BNK. Everything is so dark, and it is most certainly full of terrors. in that jungle. Faker flapping after Vikla here as a Hex Flash opportunity
That was
area, but doesn't find the angle.
By the way,
That was, oh god.
one achieve.
Yep.
That's a scary sneeze, Atlas.
1 minute and 20 seconds of Elder Dragon. Well, actually, infinite time of Elder Dragon because Faker is there. So that's kind of permanent a little bit. It's a bit silly now that we think about it. Of course, you do need to take the time to get there. The Smolder's inevitability is reminding us of how that Smolder meta felt as that inhibitor turret going to go down and BNK just watching their options slip away if there were any left to begin with. Mum goes down, and so do the Nexus turrets. There's a hook. Kellen going to be flashing away here as the Equalizer has taken them to half health on its own. It's on, like they're almost about to die to just the Equalizer and an Elder Dragon.
Turret still standing, trying to hold on. And T1, still 30 seconds. They can't try and play as the hook.
Carrier, that was so weird, but I loved it. He manages to find a stun onto Diablo as well. The Impale connects onto 2. The bottom lane is melted in an instant as the Emperor's Divide does nothing. There goes the Nexus turret. That is the clean ace, and T1 will scale their way to a 33-minute victory here in Game 2.
Revze is the day of Doran now. The adjustment, it took a couple of rounds. But I think we're there. I think that this type of playstyle is clearly working for the team. Some of the individual performances, I think, are a bit up and down, right? I think Faker still has been, even in this game, he was fine.
Yeah.
But it felt like most of the stuff was happening around him as opposed to him being...
Gumishi just did almost triple the damage of Diablo in this game.
Yeah, the Lucian counterpick did not work.
It did not.
Maybe not so much of a counterpick, could obviously also be matchup related. But Diablo and Kellen were quite strong in the T1 bot lane last time around.
Yep.
Not now.
And when it comes to wife versus husband, my money is almost always on the wife. Let's just say that. In my experience, they win all of the arguments. As Doran is going to get it, there is a god, ladies and gentlemen, and he is benevolent. Faker allowing Doran to have this one.
He earned it, okay? Game number 1 was amazing. Game number 2, I'm expecting...
He had those couple of equalizers that allowed us to justify giving him the vote.
That's actually, yeah, that's kind of how it works, right? The early TP, I think, was also really good. But this is for your performance. And we have had a lot of POMs that were a little bit recency biased, so why not a POM that's biased toward game number 1?
Precisely. Absolutely love to see it. Now we get to have a conversation with Doran as well, which is absolutely fantastic because we haven't been able to speak to him, you know, since he
Except the owner interview where owner couldn't...
Oh, right. So we got to talk to Doran instead of owner, but now it's his own POM. Let's do it.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Jisun for the POM interview translation, joined by Doran on the side of T1. Congratulations on the win. You got your revenge of the first round. How do you feel? Yeah, it was a big bummer that we lost to BNK FearX in the first round, but in the end, today we managed to get our revenge, so it feels amazing. So this is your second interview for this year's LCK, but first POM. How are you feeling? Our team has been performing pretty decently. You know, we are on a pretty good run, but this is my first POM of the season, so I hope I can pick up more in the future. Today, you were playing up against Soboro, who actually had his first LCK matchup against T1 3 years ago. His Olaf in Game 1 was pretty aggressive and pretty on point. How was it? Game 1, he hit level 3 and made a roam towards mid lane, which kind of freaked me out. But in the end, we were able to pick up the win of the game in that game, so I was very relieved. Well, your Yorick in that game had over 1,000 DPM. Were you expecting a POM after such a great performance in that game? I think I made a pretty impressive play at the end of the game, so I was like, maybe I might get a POM, and then I got lucky, you know, won game 2 as well, and then won the POM. 5 solo kills in that single game. Did you know that? I mean, I thought I did pick up a lot of solo kills, but I didn't know it was 5. Wow. Like, I have never experienced something like this before, so I think that was a great game for me. And then you got a couple more solo kills in game 2 as well, and with the solo kills today, now you are on the second place in the solo kill leaderboard in the LCK. How do you feel? You know, you have to keep buffing the numbers, you know. I gotta keep it going. And then game 2, T1 had smaller mids and a bot composition, you know, very late game focused. So what's the read on the meta right now with the new patch? With the new patch coming in, we wanted to try out a lot of different picks. And today, with that direction, we wanted to draft around those concepts, and it worked out pretty well. And you played Rumble in game 2. Your equalizer was always doing a great job. So what would you say about your Rumble? What makes your Rumble so special? I mean, Rumble, everyone plays it pretty similarly. It's a staple champion for top laners, but maybe today my Rumble was a little bit good, you know, a little bit better than ordinary Rumbles. And today, Tom, T1's coach, is having his birthday. Any birthday wishes for him? Happy birthday. Thank you so much for working so hard for our comms and drafting. Keep up the good work, please. And with today's victory, T1 now secured a spot in the road to MSI. You know, T1 is always getting a lot of support from the fans, a lot of cute fan signs as well, and a message over to them. Yeah, road to MSI is just around the corner. I hope our team can keep the great momentum and form going, and I will look forward to the fan support. And this will be the end of the Doran interview from T1, and back to the space. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ji-sun and Yaya, as it was a first POM on T1 for Doran. He gets it done on the Rumble. And on the Yorick, obviously. T1 do it methodically in game number 2, and it's a 12 out of 13. We guessed a we guessed
I thought
a
it was going to be
9.
I thought there would be a few carrier votes. I expect the Rogue Guma vote.
The right media Guma vote.
I mean, his center was good.
I think he played well, and if Doran wasn't in this match, then I think it would have been okay vote. But I think like game 1 particularly was so about Doran. That's why it feels kind of weird to see the Guma vote. But Guma played well. Like it's no